Hello, and a warm welcome to the Ghatna Chakra book video. Let's begin this journey where we will present every topic in a simple, clear, and exam-oriented manner.
Hey everyone, and welcome. So, have you ever thought about what happens when you have a legal dispute but your opponent is the government itself? It's not always what you see in the movies. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a super important but often overlooked part of India's justice system, the world of administrative tribunals. And we're asking a pretty big question. Who actually gets to judge the judges? I mean, this is a huge question of fairness, right? If the state is one of the parties in the fight, who's the neutral referee? It's not always the judges we read about in the big headlines. So who are these people making the decisions? And how on earth do they get that powerful job? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out. So to get our answer, we actually have to look beyond the courts we all know, like the high courts or the Supreme Court. Just imagine there's a whole other track running right alongside them, a separate system that was built for a very specific type of problem. And on that parallel track, you find these things called tribunals. Now, the key word you got to remember here is specialized. Think of it like this. A regular court is kind of like a general family doctor. They handle all sorts of different cases. A tribunal, though, that's your specialist, laser-focused on just one area of the law. And when you put them side by side, you can really see the difference. Traditional courts are broad, and they have all these strict formal procedures. Tribunals, on the other hand, are focused and way more flexible. But this isn't just about making things simpler. It's about their whole purpose. Tribunals were literally created to be faster and more efficient. And they're staffed with experts who are ready to deal with those tricky cases that pop up when a citizen has a problem with the state. So if these tribunals are so important, where does the power to even create them come from? I mean, who gets to just say, you know what, we need a new tribunal for this? Well, like with so many things involving state power, the answer is written right into the Constitution. And there it is, Article 323B. This one sentence is basically the foundation, the constitutional green light that gives our lawmakers the power to set up these special judicial bodies. But let's be real, that's some pretty dense legal speak, so let's break down what it actually means. Okay, let's unpack this. The power to create these tribunals isn't just random. It sits firmly with the people we elect, the folks in Parliament and in our state legislatures. They're set up for very specific kinds of disputes, with that one key exception you see there for service matters. The bottom line is, the very foundation of this justice system is rooted in our democratic process. All right, so we've established that our legislatures build the House, so to speak, but that's just an empty building. Who actually picks the people who will sit in the chairs, act as judges, and make these really important decisions? Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting, because the answer shows us this delicate dance of power between the different branches of our government. It's not just one person calling all the shots. And boom, here's our answer, straight from the source. The key phrase here, the words you really need to focus on, is appointed by the president after consultation with the Chief Justice of India. Those last few words, they are everything. This is not a one-person decision. It's a team effort by design. You can think of it like a carefully planned three-step dance between two massive parts of the government. First, you have the judiciary, through the Chief Justice, giving its expert legal opinion on who's best for the job. Then, and only then, based on that critical advice, the executive branch, through the president, makes the final official appointment. It's set up to be a true partnership, which is so important because it stops any one branch from having total control. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. You've got the legislature creating the institution, and then you have this partnership between the executive and the judiciary to appoint the people who run it. So why? Why is it designed this way? It all comes down to this one simple, powerful idea, a carefully constructed balance of power. And this isn't just about bureaucracy, it's a fundamental safeguard for all of us. By getting the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive involved, the system tries to make sure these tribunals are independent, that they're accountable, and most importantly, that they are staffed by people who actually know what they're talking about. So, as we wrap up, if you remember just 3 things from this explainer, make it these. First, tribunals are all about providing specialized, expert, and faster justice. Second, the power to create them rests with our elected lawmakers. And third, the whole appointment process is a deliberate system of checks and balances, requiring teamwork between the President and the Chief Justice of India. And that leaves us with one final and, I think, really crucial question to chew on. How does this whole intricate dance, This balancing act between needing speed and efficiency on one hand and needing careful judicial oversight on the other, how does that actually shape the kind of justice a regular person gets when they go up against the state? It's the big question at the heart of this entire system, and definitely something worth thinking about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.